Okay, it is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. Your Richland County Commissioners are in session. It is a big day for Richland County. Before I get started, for those who may not know, the county cuts the ribbon today on the first phase of a major construction process taking place in our building. We will cut the ribbon on our brand new Clerk of Court's office and grand jury conference room today at 2 o'clock. So if anyone's free, it's phase one of a multi-year construction renovation process. So we have a lot of guests today. Carl and Daryl in Zoom land.
Carl is not.
Carl, no Daryl, okay. We're joined by some friends here. If they could introduce themselves. Always good to see the fiscal officer for Madison, of course. Was hoping we get Trustee Kraft, but I guess we got Fletcher.
He'll be here.
Okay, so if you could please introduce yourself to the audience for those listening.
And who wants to start? Girls first?
I'm Leanna Rhodes, Fiscal Officer, Madison Township.
Dan.
Kennedy, President of Schaefer Johnston Lichtwalter and Associates. Keith Thomas with Schaefer Johnston Lichtwalter.
And I'm Dan Fletcher, Madison Township Trustee.
And also we have our wonderful county engineer, Adam Gove, and the world's best county administrator, Andrew Keller. So we are here today. I believe Mr. Fletcher has a request on behalf of Madison Township. And kudos to Mr. Keller. We have sort of set this potential money aside. Nothing is guaranteed yet. For a request of county ARPA funds. So I believe we have the exact amount left that would meet your request if we approve, of course. So take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, commissioners, for entertaining Madison Township for such a request. Like, I'm here formally to ask the county commissioners for $50,000 to assist us, Madison Township, with the Manor Drive Extension Drainage Culvert Project. Okay, it's a culvert to be replaced on the Hale property, which is within Madison Township, but on private property. And this culvert runs under a county sewer line that's north of the intersection of Manor Drive and Eastview Drive in the Eastview allotment. This line runs under that area and extends out to Ashland Road. I believe, which I know for sure, that Mr. Vero, Commissioner Vero, visited the site years ago. And so he's aware of what I'm referring to here. I think I sent him photos.
I've seen the
email.
pictures, and I've also witnessed it firsthand. So
Okay, and so you know what I'm saying. And then also too, in the summer of '96, there was some flooding, real extensive flooding that actually backed the water up clear to Keller Drive, which is like the next block over it. Okay, the project components. Basically, they're going to remove a 30-inch culvert about 80 feet long and replace it with a 66-inch by 50-inch oval, is that right? Oval conduit or culvert about 90 feet long. So, I mean, if you put that in perspective, you can barely crawl through the existing culvert, and the new one will be big enough you could almost drive a four-wheeler through it. And I'm sure these culvert sizes are calculated through an engineer based on water flow from around the area. So it's based on those calculations and then the size of that culvert, it's greatly undersized. So anyhow, they're going to do some concrete head walls, some rock channel, and some landscaping improvements. The design cost from SJL, Schaefer Johnson, who they're here today, is $29,435. And the estimated construction engineer cost is $110,521, which makes a total project cost of $139,947. And that's why I'm here, to formally ask for $50,000 of ARPA funds from the county commissioners.
And where does the rest come from?
The rest is coming from Madison Township. We've secured the funding and we're ready to move forward.
Well, I can't think, I mean, we know that area has flooding issues. I love that area. It's just a nice little area tucked back, off of 42. I've experienced or not experienced, witnessed the flooding firsthand. I'm completely supportive of this. Absolutely. I know the residents in that area will be pretty happy with this. Kudos, begrudging kudos to Mr. Fletcher, who's taken the lead on this. I'm sure Leanna did all the heavy lifting, but, again, awesome. I'm in favor of it, so I'll turn it over to Cliff. Presuming he's in favor of it, then Mr. Keller can get the paperwork going because we'd have to approve it by the end of the year.
Can't turn our back on this. It's gotta happen.
Just let me add here that the advertisements for the bid goes out for publication today.
So I guess we need some formal action then. Yes, Andrew?
And the bid opening is, excuse me, and the bid opening would be for this project December 9th.
For the ARPA award, we can wait
Okay.
then, because it's a
Wait to the-
town-owned
Okay.
project. So they can take care of the bidding. I think you guys authorized that on Monday, Dan?
Yes, yes,
Your township meeting? Okay.
yes, we did.
And then, so probably next week, no later than the week following, the commissioners can formalize the award.
And this can be done, gentlemen, by December 2026?
The,
So we've put a contract completion date of this August,
Oh,
August
perfect.
25.
August 1st, 25.
We like that. No brainer. Okay, Fletch. We'll wait for the formal ARPA paperwork, but you're good on our end.
am I free to leave?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to stay and see county government at its finest?
Media might have some questions.
Who?
Carl.
Where's they?
Carl's in Zoom land.
Where are they?
They're watching on the camera.
Oh, okay. Is this everything? Is the bid documents?
I
in
have
here?
them right here. I'll get them to you later.
Okay, because I will run that to the original blueprint when we're done.
So I would
We're
add that, like you said, you've been out there. I was out there on, I think it's 2017.
Yeah, I just taken office, if I recall.
The township had some things to do. They've improved the storm sewer upstream. They've improved the storm sewer downstream. And this was kind of the last
He
remaining.
had some manual suggestions at that time to alleviate the flooding, if you remember. That,
Yes, yes, I do.
hopefully that won't be an issue once this is done.
Okay.
Carl,
Does anyone have any questions?
questions for Mr. Fletcher?
Oh, always have questions. Dan, I think trustees in Madison voted back in March to appropriate 150,000 ARPA funds toward a solution. Is this separate from that, or is this part of the same solution?
It's part of the same solution, yes. We have additional projects. If there's money left over from that money, the 150, we have it going towards other projects. We're doing those calculations.
So I'm just trying to add up the total solution, and that 150 and this 139 is in addition to that 150?
No, sir. It's the total project, the total construction project estimated cost is 139,947. Back in March, it was just a guess. And that's why we appropriated that.
Okay. All right, so this is part of that 150. Adam, where does this water come from? And is this primarily a problem during heavy rains?
Yes, so it's from that Eastview allotment. Most of it's centered right around there. And I don't remember what the drainage area was. About a quarter of a square mile of drainage that comes into this area. And yeah, I don't know if you've had any issues this year. Obviously,
no.
we didn't have a whole lot of rain this year, heavy storms.
Right.
So yeah, mostly when there's the heavy rainfall is when that backs up.
Especially that culvert is tiny, man.
Right, yeah, it's just
The way
under,
the debris just flows right in and blocks that culvert.
And this could, I mean, I can't speak for how they figured this, but it's the the size of the culvert is based on like 100-year flood that might occur, you know, that's why it's that large. Assuming, but they do their calculations and size the pipe.
And the fact that there's houses just upstream that do flood if you have those large rains. So that's the reason for having a extra large culvert there to make sure the water doesn't back up into those houses.
Good gentleman back here.
Yeah, and the pipe arch was sized to reduce the backflow into, I believe, Robert Johnston's property, which is upstream there. Yeah, Robert Johnston's property, they're on the corner of Manor and Eastview, southeast corner, which was what we used as kind of our guide, was to try to minimize flooding since his property was most heavily affected. Adjacent homes were as well, but his was most severely affected. So that's why we sized the pipe to reduce a 100-year flood situation to have minimal impact on his property and his outbuilding and his home.
How many houses are affected by this or will be bettered by this, I should say?
Guess it would depend on the size of the flood, right?
Right. I mean, those pictures that I sent Commissioner Vero looked like it affected 4. But then if you have a flood that goes clear to Keller Drive, you know, that's pretty long street with the houses on both sides.
Right.
And Adam, is there a stream or a named stream or river that flows near this that this is coming off of, or is this just simply groundwater?
It's just the local drainage area. I don't believe there's any stream name to that drainage.
And the culvert or the culvert that's being replaced, the 30-inch culvert, when was that built or when was that installed?
I believe it was the late 60s, early 70s. It was installed as part of the wastewater system installation. I don't remember exact dates, but I'm pretty sure it was the 60s.
I'm sorry, I can't answer that either.
What we're talking about here, this is stormwater culvert, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, I think that's what I had. Thanks, guys.
All right. Go forth and help the flooding issues, please. Good job, Fletch.
Should be everything.
Thank you guys for coming so much.
So
Okay, we'll move on to regular items. Motion to certify record of proceedings for November 19th, 2020.
So moved.
this the
Arrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Motion to approve requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Motion to approve weekly transfers and appropriation. Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Okay, ask for a motion to accept the $6,200 quote from Davis Newcomer for elevator repair at the Longview Building.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask for motion this time that we allow the Child Support Enforcement Agency to be closed from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on December 11th, 2024 for their annual Christmas luncheon.
This is the season, so moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Okay, next I'll ask for a motion that we approve a change order involving CDBG monies. It's for reentry and recovery workforce plan with NECIC. It's just simply a time extension.
Money involved? So moved.
Second.
Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay, next up, Mr. Keller. Carl may have questions about this, but As I mentioned at the start of the meeting today, we are very proud to be cutting the ribbon on our new clerk of court's office and grand jury conference room. That section of the building is not connected to the entire building's fire system. So in order to receive temporary approval from a fire code perspective, we need to conduct fire watches while people are in and around the building. And so all we simply need to do is approve an agreement with the city of Mansfield on conducting fire watches. And we believe that this will be up and running by Monday. Is that correct, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, so motion to approve the fire watch agreement. Tuesday, oh, we gotta do an extra day of fire watch. Josh is gonna come in around the clock on Sunday at 3 a.m. I kid. Motion to approve the, yeah, well, I said that. I was just kidding. I'll second the motion.
Rivera,
Yes.
Mears.
Yes.
All right, we have a couple additional items. It is the season for appointments to the oh so many boards we appoint to. At this time, I'll ask that we appoint Mr. William Hope to the Children's Services Board. This would be his second term. It's a 4-year term. His second term would start first of year 2025. And we have that a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Rivera,
Yes.
Mears.
Yep.
All right, then we have another request from Chris May, who is the director of the library. They are asking that we reappoint Tara Muratori, excuse me, to Muratori Strang. She would be appointed to her first full term. If you recall, Tara replaced Jody Perry, who had to step down when she became mayor. I have no idea why these terms are 7 years, but they are 7-year terms. State legislature sets those. So this would be a motion to appoint her to her first full term, first year 2025 for 7 years. May we have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Mears.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes our regular business. Carl, do you have any questions?
Well, just a couple. The NECIC time extension, what's that one about?
February 2025. It just gives them additional time to work on the workforce and reentry plan.
Okay. And Firewatch, this is when you say that it'll be up and running by Tuesday, you're talking about connecting that new portion of the building to the other fire suppression systems in the building?
Correct.
And what will the city of Mansfield be doing until Tuesday?
Nothing. This just says we're going to allow you to occupy the space while the system isn't connected to the entire building system. And in return, you have to post notices that there's a fire watch taking place. And every hour we have to monitor and document in a log that it is being watched for fire, hence the fire watch.
So somebody actually has to physically be there, only when the building's occupied though?
Correct.
And it's still alarmed during that time, Carl, so it's just the call out that needs to be finalized next week.
You want to come in and do the watches?
Negative. I've stood my last watch. Thank you. That's all I had, guys.
Okay, well, we are not done. We will come back in session in 11 minutes to discuss the EMA budget, so we will recess.
Okay. Well, tell them we missed.
Okay, it is 10 o'clock and we are back in session. We are joined by Rebecca Owens and Destiny, how do I make sure I pronounce Heinberger, right? Good, good, good. They're our wonderful team from EMA. They do a great job. They're a two-person operation and they kick butt. And we are here to talk about their very, very hefty budget request of about $222,000 and a budget requests of about 48.6 million for general funds. So, we like seeing you guys, or ladies, excuse.
Yeah, you're not expensive.
Yeah, these are one of our more pleasant budget hearings. Take it away if you could.
Right, great. Well, thank you for having us this morning again. Been looking forward to this, of course, every year. So,
Over the budget.
Really?
oh, well, no, we do. We need money to function, so.
Good.
Oh, we don't have money, so.
I know. So as you mentioned, I'm here today to request our 2025 budget request of $222,736.16.
63.
In 24, we received $224,910.92. So actually, we're down a little bit from last year's request. 2024 obviously has been very busy. The bulk of that earlier in the year was in regards to the eclipse. We've had several exercises. We've done a lot of community outreach events, including the National Preparedness Month. We had the Preparedness Fair at the mall. We've had staff transitions and we've spent some time evaluating the operations to be more efficient. As far as disaster response for 24, we had the drowning that we assisted with in February. March was the EF2 tornado in Plymouth Township, which was a FEMA declared incident. The eclipse in April, and then we assisted with the home explosion on Hook Road in September. Exercises conducted. We had a full-scale exercise in September.
Rebecca,
Yes.
just curiosity, do they have any cause of
Not yet.
anything? Do we know how long that investigation will take?
Someone said it could be until the end of the year.
Wow, okay.
I did see that they are having a service for her, I think this week sometime. Yeah. As far as our exercises are concerned, we're done with this cycle, so we will not start up again in exercise mode until July 1st. Expenses outstanding from 2023 that we had coming into 24 was the completion of the EOC redesign. We finished up the siren maps for the tornadoes, had those printed and installed. So our total cost for that EOC redesign project was $23,000. We've had some expenses that were lower than expected this year, primarily because of staff change. Destiny is at $19 an hour and Sarah was at $21.46, so roughly about $5,000 less in salaries. Health insurance was significantly lower. When we were here this time last year, we had requested funding for insurance because Sarah's husband was changing jobs and was going to be on her insurance for a time. And that ended up being a much shorter time period than what we expected. So there was a huge, right now, our insurance year to date is roughly 30,000 and we projected it for the year to be about 59. We've also done some review and reorganizing of our CERT team. We have a volunteer insurance policy that we carry on them. And we were able to decrease the number of actual CERT members. We went from 60 to 25 on that policy. So our policy premium went from $1,350 down to $700 for a year. And we also expect to purchase new hazard lights, I guess, for our vehicle this year, due to some changes in the legislature that are going to require us to have different lighting systems. But that did not happen this year. It hasn't been finalized. So that may be an expense in 25. We're not sure yet. Unexpected expenses, two of the major ones. One was because of the roof project at the People's Building, we had an antenna that needed to be moved. So that was $2,500. And then because of all the in-house printing and such that we did primarily for the Eclipse, we had an overage on our Toshiba copier of $800. So, as I mentioned, we're trying to be a little more efficient, trying to shore up what we do in-house and what really should be EMA responsibility versus what shouldn't be. One of those was the Medical Reserve Corps, which is volunteers that have some type of medical credential that, again, are volunteering with different things in the community, whether it be disaster related. They volunteered a lot for the COVID-19 clinics and such. So that has now officially transferred to the health department. We were one of 2 counties in the state that did not have that under the health department. So we were able to move that. So we don't have to manage that anymore.
We need to adjust the revenue line item as you have 53,726 for the EMPG, and Destiny said it's gonna be around 47.
Yes.
Look here in your revenue expense detail. You have 53,726.
Up here.
You have that too in your budget summary.
Yes.
Looks like we need to.
What was it reducing to again, Doug?
47,615.
15?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm guessing we found that out after we
Yes.
had already submitted that. So.
Yeah, we just
for sure.
got that about 2 weeks ago.
Let me see. So
Now we're gonna have to even cut more money.
I know.
Fun.
We've been tracking, again, we started last year tracking expenses more by program area, such as disaster operations, marketing, communications, CERT, that kind of thing. So that's helping us shore up our expenses and again, give a much better picture as to what things are costing and be more specific. I don't like other and I don't like miscellaneous. So those have gone away. So I'm gonna save the siren thing for last because we know we all want to talk about that. Expected expenses for 25, we're looking at our hazard mitigation plan has to be updated. It expires in June of 26. We have a consultant that will be doing that for us, and that cost is roughly $27,000. Are able to apply for BRIC funding, which is Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant through the Ohio EMA. That has not come out yet, but we will be applying for that sometime in early 2025. There is a cash match to that, but we may be able to make up a lot of that with just in-kind match with partners participating in meetings and such. Those volunteer hours are at $57 an hour for those, so that contributes towards our match for that grant. We're also working with the city on their BRIC application because they are submitting that in regards to the Toby Run project. And they receive more points on their project if there's reference in the county hazard mitigation plan for any type of flooding mitigation throughout the city. So, and there is, it's not specific to Toby Run, but it's broad enough that it does count and will help them on their grant request.
How are we doing on the tornado sirens for the city?
I had a email yesterday from someone in their, I think in their fiscal department, asking me about our RFP. She wanted to see what it looked like so they could get this there at that point.
It was in the media yesterday that Keith Porteous contacted you and working with you on the locations of the 4.
Nope, not recently, no.
It was reported yesterday.
Wow, that's nice. I know, I love it. Make no,
Well, right now it's about getting the RFP.
Please find it.
This will come after the RFP.
yeah, exactly. So that, yeah, they've got some time for that. Okay, so let's talk sirens. So yesterday I received our first invoice for that. It's roughly about $160,000, which is for all the equipment. So that will be, actually, I've sent it over to Stacy and we'll get that processed through the ARPA dollars. Again, the project completion date on that is May 31st of 25. As of 11/18 per VASU, this is just information that they shared this week. Prison boards were delivered. They've almost completed their programming and dispatch.
This is part of the marks.
Correct.
Okay.
And they are compiling LTE connections for data. Now, I will tell you that in 2024, our expenses relative to the sirens, which covered some batteries, fuses, brush track chargers, was $8,100. So from 2023, when we first started our tornado adventure, to current, we've spent almost $60,000 on repairs and replacing batteries and that kind of stuff. 2025 expenses, there will still continue to be expenses in regards to battery replacements. We're expecting roughly 5 sirens to need battery replacements. And that's roughly about $7,250. We are having semi-annual inspections next year to make sure that once we get through the marks and get through everything, that we are able to go back to doing inspections once a year. So that's another $7,000. And then any other repairs that might come along. Sometimes some of these are weird. I talked to Basu this week. There's a siren up on Latimer Road in the northern part of the county that either a mower or heavy equipment has hit the pole and ripped the utility wire right out of the box. So that has to be reconnected. So there's some cost to that. So we are on track with that and moving right along.
What's the completion date for Marks?
May 31st.
So then at that point, we decommission the VHF transmitter?
That's my understanding. Yes, sir. Yep. So other than that, and then also one other thing that we are trying to kind of shift hopefully to the health department is there is a radiological officer for the county who has for recent years been under the umbrella of the EMA office, but it's my understanding that also needs to should technically be housed under the health department. But we're having more conversation on that. Basically, it's somebody that is willing to take calls from some of the tier 2 facilities that we work with for LEPC if they have any questions in regards to any radiological stuff that they deal with. So we're trying to get that transferred. But again, some of these things should we be doing them or not? And if so, why are we doing them?
An
And
example of a radiological issue.
Back to the Future.
So this is,
I would say maybe a mercury thing. We did have that. We had a call, so this year, or it might have been last year, that someone showed up at the fire department and brought in a huge amount of mercury and they didn't know what to do with it.
that's radiological, mercury.
The only thing I can think of that we've had any call about.
Come
What
from.
about plutonium?
Somebody found it in a house when they were cleaning.
Becca, what about plutonium for a time machine
Back to the Future.
and a DeLorean?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So that's what we have for you at this time. As I said, we've been busy. We continue to be busy. We like to be busy. We had a weather meeting yesterday with the sheriff's department, ODOT, Mansfield City, just to kind of talk about, have there been any changes in any of their procedures or anything for the upcoming winter months, and nothing significant. However, the city did mention that they are looking at reprioritizing some of the city streets that get done and what the order of those streets are, because that hasn't been done for a while. ODOT beginning this morning was going to 24-hour shifts Monday through Friday. So they're on the ball as well and they were out already this morning for this. So all good. We're ready. And the Everbridge, obviously RC Alerts Everbridge is there. It's going okay so far.
So if you read the article on the location of the 4 city sirens, how would you go about that? Do you look at tax map or go to the engineer's office and see what the high points topographically would be?
I have no clue, and we're going to find out where that's at, and I'm going to reach out to him. And I'm like, that's far more than,
Yeah.
I think that needs to be somebody.
Budget actually in page.
Yes,
At $18,000 for contract services, and you have consultant fees for plans.
correct. That's what I was talking about, the mitigation plan. This year, if you'll recall, we had the meeting over at the health department to talk to just an initial conversation about the hazard mitigation plan, the flooding, erosion,
Okay, that's what.
kind of stuff. But yes, it's a much more extensive. The entire plan, as I said, is due, expires June of 26.
My favorites of government. You can never have enough plans,
Oh,
transportation plan, mobility.
And it's my understanding that OSU, a group of OSU students took this on as a project back in 2021. So it didn't cost anything, but now it needs to be really looked at and updated properly because some things have changed. So we do have a consultant out of Norwalk that works with many of the area EMAs as well as Mansfield City Schools and other things in regards to different plans that they have. So that'll be our fun for 25. Sir?
Me.
Done a marvelous job. Your outreach has been excellent. I mean, you're where you need to be. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. And I know I'm a chamber ambassador now, just trying to get out and get more in front of the businesses and such as well, because that's kind of on my list as well, as reaching out to them, especially. So the tier 2 facilities are those that are required to report things to the EPA as far as what they have in-house, as far as chemicals and such. And we are working with Chief Crow, Chief Reed, to really start a program, more comprehensive process in meeting with them, making sure we're meeting their needs and making sure that they get the information we have because they're required to submit a report every May that we have to turn into, that they have to turn into EPA. So,
Is there still a duplicate Facebook page?
no,
It hasn't been deleted yet, but it's been, I just have to go through the picture.
okay. We did find out.
I knew we had one that somebody had created that we didn't know, and we didn't have administrator rights. I think this is when he first started.
Well, this may open a can of worms, but,
Probably should discuss that off.
yes, we can do that.
You should have a discussion with Cliff on that
Okay.
without being on the record.
We can do that. We can do
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's not public right now anyways. It's out there, but we will get it deleted as well. So, all right. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it very much. I think you will be kind in your consideration of our request.
Your very hefty budget.
Yes, I know. Sorry. Oh, though, just FYI, I will put a plug in that in the next couple of years, we will need a new vehicle of some sort. So that's going to be a pretty hefty chunk of change,
Place the beast.
placing the beast and updating some.
The motorcycles are out, huh?
Or we guess we could go horses too, that might be a little horse and buggy, but
I know you guys, Rebecca, got that, and between $10,000 and $11,000 from the state that is gonna go back and probably the general fund, or it isn't the general fund.
right.
That your idea was maybe use that as seed money towards a vehicle in the next couple of years when the time comes.
That's correct. Yeah, and we had submitted a letter to you all requesting that. So yes, thank you for mentioning that because I forgot. But we're starting to, gotta save our pennies.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Cool. We will adjourn at 10:17. Join us at the ribbon cutting.